Hey, Frank. So thanks for taking the time today to speak with us about exit planning. Much appreciated.
Sure, Peter. Good to be here. Good to be speaking with you.
Thank you. Well, hey, my first question, pretty basic, but important. What are some, maybe one or two of the most important factors business owners should consider when they're contemplating an exit? And then maybe
Sure.
you can.
Yep. Sure. There's a couple of important things, and first of all, I would counsel a business owner to have a good handle on their financials. What are their numbers saying? What are they telling someone in the outside world, about the company? So certainly financial information, very important. The financial statements be in good order. And secondly, I would say, take a good assessment of the management team. Your management team and their performance, especially, we're now coming off a year where we dealt with a pretty serious event in the COVID pandemic, and how did that management team perform and bring the company through that period? So I would say have a handle on financials and how the company is doing, be able to talk trends about your company and assess your management team, and will they be able to affect future growth and potentially help in an exit of the company.
Got it. Is it necessary for a business owner to have an idea about the value of their business prior to considering a sale?
Yeah, great question. And I think absolutely the answer there would be yes. I think, it behooves a business owner to have an idea, have some valuation insight on their business. Especially successful businesses will get queries and inquiries from a variety of sources. And as a business owner discusses with various prospects, these offers or potential offers, to have an idea about the worth of the business is important, to understand whether an offer may be viable or is not viable or not something you want to continue discussions on.
Got it. And are there any basic metrics that an existing business owner should have a handle on? Profit, positive cash flow, et cetera?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we seek to do when we start to work with business owners at LGA is we try understanding industry and how does that particular industry function. Is it important to look at gross margin and how much gross margin is a company yielding, and below the gross margin, how are their operating expenses behaving? Do they have control of those operating expenses? So profit is always important, and especially with valuing a business and maximizing value, we look at cash flow, and cash flow is very important. And typically profit and cash flow go hand in hand. If there's profitability and success, they're coincides with more cash flow available, and therefore making the business a more attractive target for potential suitors.
Got it. And in closing, how could LGA's specific exit planning services benefit the owners or management team?
Absolutely. So at LGA, I mentioned that, when we begin talking and working with business owners, we want to understand the business, the industry, what's important in that particular industry. How do we best track and guide an owner through their performance? When an owner comes to us, they may think they're ready for a sale, but typically, we may work for them for a 6 to 24 month period, kind of analyzing the business, understanding historical trends. It gives us an opportunity also to work with the management team and assess that management team and try to get some guidance on how they could perform in the future. So that's how we can help business owners, management teams. We can help assess a business. We can help better position a business for sale in some future time frame, and hopefully help a business owner maximize their value when that exit planning event happens.
Fantastic, Frank. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing this information.
Thanks, Peter.